Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and I've got a special treat for you today. A Patreon supporter and good friend of mine, Dominic R., who I've never actually met in person, but we've connected really well over the channel, and he sent me a number of incredible gifts that I certainly don't deserve. Well, he went and visited Rancho Obi-Wan, I believe, which is down in Texas. And I'm sure that you guys know all about Steve Sansweet's Rancho Obi-Wan, a museum of Star Wars memorabilia. Well, he went and visited, and he sent me some photos by text that he said was okay for me to share. And we can live vicariously through Dominic after his amazing visit to see Steve Sansweet and all of his incredible Star Wars collectibles. So I put together kind of a slideshow of the items for you guys to check out, and it's a pretty incredible, jaw-dropping experience just looking at the photos. So here is Dominic along with Steve in one of the rooms. This looks kind of, to me, look like, you know, the wall looks almost a little bit either Japanese, Oriental, or potentially Indian, but it's a really cool artistic mural that captures a lot of the awesome stuff from Star Wars, and they're all action figures in the mural. So very, very cool there. So thank you again, Dominic, for sending me these photos and allowing me to show these to everybody else so we can take a closer look. You can see down there to the right of the two of them, there's the Jedi training ball replica and all kinds of cool stuff. You got some costumes, things like that. What a cool photo. So congrats again on getting to go there. This I thought was hilarious. I had to show it. This was a painting or some kind of image that that was hanging up in Steve Sansweet's collection, but it's Lando with Cloud City tattoos on his arms, and you can see the Bespin cloud car, twin pod cloud cars in each of the corners. Just kind of a cool, it almost looks like he's a gangster, and which Lando is, right? He's the original gangster, if you ask me. So that was a really cool, funny painting that he had there. Next up, let's dig into the action figures. So these were pretty cool. These were like almost like a round cylinder. It's very similar to what Only One Kenobi has decided to do with his vintage collection, where he created like these cardboard barrels with his vintage collection, and they display in kind of a 360 rotation. Well, Steve's got the OG items, and you can see the base is basically stormtroopers lined up, ready for inspection for Darth Vader or the Emperor's visit. So that's kind of the base of how those cylinders look. And then here is a close-up of one of the cylinders showing some 12 and 21 backs, some ESB card backs, things like that. So very cool how those are displayed in his collection. So I just wanted to show that. A couple of close-ups from some of the more difficult to find gems from the vintage Kenner run. This is the Power of the Force Anakin Skywalker. Obviously a very, very rare gem. Very tough to find. This one mint on card. And they also had the Canadian yak face on the Power of the Force card. We all know how expensive that is. An AFA 60, I believe, just sold on Hakes for like whatever it was, $6,000 or $7,000. So very, very pricey item there. And that one's a beauty, unpunched and in really great shape. Here are a few droids. We got Sice From and Tig From there, along with some of the Ewoks at the bottom of the picture there. Next up, we got some more droids figures, and again, Anakin inside this awesome case that Steve displays his items in. Here are some Japanese poppies that are just hanging out on a shelf, no big deal, but it looks like he's got the full set of the Japanese poppies, and to the right of the poppies, you can see right there that very tough to find ESB multi-pack that is as rare as it gets. So you can also see in the background some other vehicles and play sets, things like that. Here is a very rare multi-pack for the Tri-Logos. We have shown a few of those on the channel over the years, but this one is hanging out with, this one's got Darth Vader, Paplu, Leia Hoth, and the Imperial Commander inside one of those multi-packs for the Tri-Logos. And then right above that is an even more rare item. These were Irish multi-packs that were only, I think, made and distributed in Ireland. And you can see that one right there. That's extremely, extremely rare. And then you got a few other multi-packs there that I can't place, but it looks like you got a speeder bike multi-pack with an Ewok as well as the Biker Scout. So Again, some of the rarest stuff you'll ever see for the vintage Kenner line. Here are the Takara 8-inch figures. You got Vader and the Stormtrooper and Chewbacca hanging out, along with some other Japanese items behind that, so that's pretty cool. Here is the Glasslight Brazilian Luke Farm Boy mint on card, and that's another very rare one that looks to be in pretty impeccable condition as well. Here is the radio-controlled Sandcrawler, along with it looks like the Palatoy Death Star playset, so very, very rare items there. There's another shot right above it of the 8-inch figures from the Takara line. And you got C-3PO over there as well. So he's got all 4 of those. Next up here is the box for that Palatoy Death Star. I know that Chris W. over at Rogue 5 Toys sold one of these, or maybe even 2 of these. And I think he also had a Meccano. He had 2 of the Palatoy, the Meccano, as well as the Toll Toys example of the Death Star playset. So there's one with all of the ingredients for the box sitting out in front of it, so that's pretty cool. Here is a very rare Droids Boba Fett. We all know how expensive and tough to find that one is. That is easily probably, what, a $10,000 item or more, just judging by the condition of that one. It looks very, very clean, so that's pretty cool to see there. For you bootleg fans, here are some rare gems, and these are the Hungarian bootlegs that were available single-carded, but they were also available in these multi-packs. So I think it was an 8-pack. So you can see there how they're stapled together. And all of these are made in Hungary, and this multi-pack is as rare as it gets. It's got, I think, the entire line there, or most of the line, and they came all kind of stapled together in like a multi-pack. So that is extremely rare to get all of those mint on card. Here's another rare gem. This is, I think this is I don't know if that's a first generation. I think this is a second generation Polish bootleg Boba Fett mint on card. So that is as rare as it gets there too. I mean, you know, just judging by the colors, I mean, I don't know for sure, but this looks like, to me, based on the color scheme there, that looks like a second generation Polish bootleg Boba Fett mint on card. Some of the earlier card backs were slightly different, and different colors, things like that. And the first-gen Boba Fett's, I don't believe, came with this color scheme, but I could be incorrect on that. But either way, I don't care what generation it is. That's got to be a very rare item. Here are some mint on card Uzes from Turkey. We got the Blue Stars Uze on the left, and then the Imperial Gunner on the right. We all know the story about the Imperial Gunner trying to look like he's controlling the Death Star mechanism, but really it's just a Casio calculator on the card art there. So very, very rare items. And I mean, gosh, the 2 of those together are probably, what, $20,000 to $25,000 easily, if not more than that. So just judging by the condition of those, I think you could probably get $20,000 just for that Blue Star. So amazing. And I remember at one point there was an interview of Steve Sansweet where he was scoffing at somebody's asking price for the mint on card Blue Stars. And I could be misremembering this, so don't quote me on this, but I think he was angry because he thought that the person was asking too much for it. And I think at the time it was like $150, something really cheap. And I think he turned and left and said, no, I'm not going to pay that. And then he got in the car, and then before he turned on the ignition, he decided to go back in, and he agreed to pay that price. So I think that was a pretty good decision, just given that, given the condition of this one, it's got to be worth a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what it's worth exactly, but it's substantially more than what he paid for it. But pretty cool to see both of those mint on card. Here's kind of a rare oddity that many of you probably remember or have seen, but this was made and released over in Europe, obviously just judging by the language there. And I don't know where exactly in Europe this was released, but they released tubes of Colgate toothpaste and had figures inside. And you can see behind it, I mean, just this photo alone is just insane, right? You got the Empire Strikes Back 6-pack. You've got the very rare glue sticks with the Chief Chirpa inside. That was also in Europe somewhere. And then you have this Colgate toothpaste with Bib Fortuna inside. So just hanging out on a shelf, no big deal. I mean, it's unbelievable, some of the stuff he has in this collection. Some other photos, he did have a few rarities here. And, in the background, you've got the Lily Letty made in Mexico 12-inch figures. I mean, those alone are just an incredible accomplishment to have those. You've got the Jawa. You've got also La Guerre. You got the, I guess that's the Lily Letty Princess Leia, and then obviously the very rare Lily Letty 12-inch Tusken Raider, along with a Boba Fett and a regular Jawa behind it. So pretty insane to see the difference between the Lily Letty Jawa, which had like kind of a green cloak, versus the one that we're all used to that had the standard outfit. And then in his hand there, I don't know if that's, I guess that's Dominic's hand, you've got the Princess Leia utility belt costume, which I've only seen maybe one other example of that for sale or in somebody's collection at one time. That's an extremely rare item. And then below that, you've got some other very rare playset type items, that the headset radio, you've got the movie viewer, and some other, rarities there. So that's really cool. And I think he also, so you also had this rare Stormtrooper disguise. So a Halloween costume for kids that, this one looks to me, it almost looks like a bootleg, but it does have the copyright on there. But the box art on that for the Stormtrooper, look how cool the box art is. And it's a very stylized early 70s kind of depiction of the Stormtrooper. So that's pretty cool. You also had an Empire Strikes Back Yoda costume there. Ben Cooper, I've never even seen this before, but Ben Cooper costume and mask for Yoda. So how many kids dressed up as Yoda for Halloween in 1980, 81. So there had to have been a ton of those at the time. So you can see some other costume type items behind him there. Here is the rare Canadian wind-up R2-D2 mint on card. I mean, we just saw one of those that sold fairly recently. I can't remember where. I think it was maybe on Hakes. And it was a fairly low grade, but it still sold for $6 or $7 grand, something like that. So that's another rarity he's got in his collection. Here is what looks like, okay, you've got the special action figure 3-pack for the heroes, the Luke X-Wing, Ben Kenobi, and Han Solo with the special offer sticker. But if you'll notice, there's some things hanging out behind him. And so Dominic took a photo that shows all of the other multi-packs kind of stacked behind it. So it's just insane that he has all these just sitting on a shelf like that. Very, very rare items there. Here is the Vinyl Cape Jawa mint on card, and I could be misremembering that story for Steve Sansweet. It might have been this mint on card Vinyl Cape Jawa versus the Uze Turkish bootleg Blue Stars, but I remember hearing that story in a different YouTube video. But whatever, this is an unpunched example of the Vinyl Cape Jawa mint on card and in pretty impeccable condition. Clear blister still after all these years, and no staining to the cape, by the way. That's pretty cool. And then we also had another big rarity that we're going to end things with. I think this is the last photo, but these are true rocket firing Boba Fett prototypes. These are not replicas. These are not customs. These are actual first shot prototypes for the Boba Fett. And you can see one of them is the J slot on the left. That's the J slot. And then the L slot is on the right, and that one is an unpainted first shot prototype for the rocket firing Fett. So pretty cool to see both examples, the J slot as well as the L slot, hanging out on a shelf in his collection. So it's just incredible. And there was a bunch of other photos that Dominic sent me. So thank you again to Dominic for doing a photo dump. I didn't include everything. I just wanted to give you guys a sample of the incredible items that are at Rancho Obi-Wan, and thank you again very much for sharing this tour that you were able to enjoy. And we'll do one final photo here of Dominic hanging out with Steve. And wow, what a collection. It's truly the envy of everybody. And I love his passion. I love the fact that he welcomes everybody into his collection warehouse, so to speak, and other people get to enjoy seeing these items. So I hope you enjoyed this look. Make sure to leave a comment below when you're leaving me a like, and tell Dominic thank you for taking the time to not only document his visit, but to share all these photos with me. I really appreciate you doing that. And I hope to get to meet you, Dominic, here very soon in person. Thank you again, and I'll be back soon.